Hi, welcome to Gary's Hobby Studio. In this video, I'm actually going to finish up the installation of the machine for my in-laws. And if you like what I do, please like, subscribe, share this video. And, this way it helps the YouTube algorithm, tries to get my channel out there. I do not have any kind of sponsors whatsoever. And I'm hoping eventually to get bigger, we'll say. And the only way that's going to happen is through your support. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so as you saw in my previous video, my attempt to install TrueNAS failed the most spectacularly. The reason being is because for some reason, it sees this card, it sees the drives when they're attached to this card, but for some reason it won't let anything boot. I couldn't boot from a USB flash drive, couldn't boot from any of my USB external optical drives, my 2 Blu-ray drives, my 1 DVD drive, and when I even connected the original external DVD drive that they had in the system back up, and it still didn't work. So I want to say that the drives weren't compatible with the optical media. So I stuck my old plex optical drive in, and it worked. The only problem is that, like I said, it wouldn't. I'm knocking everything over now. The problem was it didn't work for some ungodly reason. Don't know why. But now that I removed this card, I can boot off of a USB key. I can probably boot off of the external DVD drive. I just didn't try it out. And I didn't want to try putting those back onto the card, shoehorn the card back in, and then try to install it from that, because I was thinking, well, I couldn't get a USB key to work, but now that the card's not in there, it's working. So it's one of those things. So now that I can at least install it on the 2 SSDs, let's go ahead and get started with that. So we'll power it on. We're going to do F12. Let's see what happens. Because it'll be interesting to see if, I mean, I have a feeling. Now, see, you can see here, here's the one 3.5-inch drive that's still left, because the other 3 are disconnected. Yeah, I want to say the other 3 are no, 2 are disconnected. And you can see the SATA teams right here, because these are the 2 that I'm going to install TrueNAS on, so that this way, if one drive fails, the other one should take over. It's not rated or mirrored or anything of the kind. So let's go ahead and select the PNY boot drive, because I already tested this out, and it was able to work because I couldn't even get this, which is shocking to me. It's probably just due to the age of the system. I'm hoping that this card will work when everything's done. We'll see. But at least if I get the OS installed and everything, that'll at least work. And if anybody's ever wondering how to get the output from the graphics card, use the white DVI output with an adapter to HDMI, and then use whatever HDMI capture card that you got, and that should work. All right, so we're going to go with install. Okay, and use the space bar to select. I'm going to select those two. And okay, this will erase all data. And I'm going to make a password for them. Okay. I'm going to just boot with BIOS because their thing is so... And we'll see. Okay. At least it's working. I was getting worried there for a second. I've never really had that great of luck with some things, and that's part of the reason why, at least for me, I don't know about it, anybody else out there that might watch this, it might be an IT technician. That's part of the reason why every time I talk to my users, I'm upfront and honest with them. I tell them, it's like, look, I don't know if this is gonna fix the issue or anything of the kind, because it's 50-50, you know? I mean, I've seen weird things happen where it does fix it, and until I do it enough times and see that it actually resolves the problem, then yeah, I can probably raise the percentage up to say 80% that it's going to fix it, especially if it's a similar type situation, especially with a lot of the times the BIOS upgrades I've been doing on a lot of these newer machines have been fixing a lot of weird software problems that people have been having. Some people have had problems with their email, their web-based email not working, a BIOS, and I know people, you know, if anybody out there might comment down there, well, I haven't seen that. Well, okay, I'm glad you haven't seen it. I have. I find it odd. One of our new people, this person's only been with my company for 2 years. This person just couldn't believe they were like losing. I can't believe that the BIOS is doing this and that and all this stuff. And again, this is 12 years of knowing our systems at work. And see, please remove installation media. Okay, so let's reboot the system. And that's the thing, and I'm trying to help this person kind of look past a lot of weirdness. I just want to see if it boots up first, because now let's go into setup and set the boot drive, since it's being a pain. Really? Not a keyboard failure, you dip. You were just working. And this is why I don't want to say definitively everything's going to work. There we go. All right. Device configuration, that's why. Okay. You would think it would have went to that, but I'll probably have to change this again. Once I get the card in, because I'm sure that'll change everything. Maybe, who knows? Well, so far, so good. Hey, hey! Now, this is TrueNAS 13U1. It's their latest release for it. I figure may as well give them that. I'm sure there might be maybe some updates. Who knows? I know I can't configure anything else, and I will probably stop this video so that I can attach everything and just see what happens. Okay, so all right, so far so good. That's actually a good sign so far that it actually works, because that's DHCP. It's going to be the same thing. I'll probably configure everything here on my network, and then when I'm done, when I plug it into theirs, I'll actually configure a static IP, probably towards the high end, because I can't remember, which I'll probably find out on Friday. When me and my wife go over to their house, we always go over their house on Friday for things, and I can see what their IP addressing scheme is, and then I can, once I get everything configured here, I can statically set it, even though it's not compatible with my network. And then when I take it over there, plug it in, boom, it's done. That's it. So, but at least I got it installed. Now the tricky part is testing this card with it and see if it will boot with this card. I hope it does, because if not, the only motherboard I have that would work is one that's in one of my TrueNAS storage units, and I'd have to get them a new case because it would not fit in here because it's just a regular board. But all right, so now it's time for testing. Okay, so now I am planning on configuring this for my in-laws. I'm going to try to see if I can fit this all together. How I'm going to configure this is that I'm going to set it up as one continuous partition, or continuous share. Really? I just changed it. Fat fingers tripped over everything. Okay, so basically you can see they have a total of roughly almost 24 gigs for 8 terabyte drives. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a pool, because I haven't configured this at all in any way. All right. And we want to create a pool. We're going to select all of these. And I know it says suggested layout. And I know I'm putting a lot of my stuff in it because I don't want my in-laws thing. And besides, I'm going to be the one that's going to end up managing it anyways. Okay, so that's the name that I'm going to go with. And I know they want me to do a RAID Z2, but I'd rather do a RAID Z for them. Just because it's easier, because if you can see, which maybe I can zoom in and then scroll down. Is that a RAID Z, they'll get at least a little over 20 terabytes of storage. If I do a RAID Z2, and granted, I understand that, but believe me, the stuff that I'm putting on there for them, not that we can't recreate it, stuff like that. But see, it basically only gives them 14. It's no different than them using a single disk external drive. So we're going to go ahead and put a RAID Z. We're going to create that, confirm it, create the pool. And let's... Okay, so now the pool is now set up with all the drives. So now should go over here. We're going to add a data set. Okay, and this I'm going to make, let me zoom in for you guys. Okay, inherent standard. And I have no idea what all these options are. We'll just leave that. Go ahead and submit. Okay, so now we have everything set up. We have the pool created. We now have the data set so that we can start storing stuff on this. So what we want to do now is go to sharing, and we want to do Windows shares or SMB. And we want to add this here, because we want to share this data set out, because what's going to happen is that we are going to create an actual file system on it once we're done. And I think under advanced options, yes. Now, considering it's just my mother and my father-in-law, and it's just their devices, and I know a lot of people out there are going to be like, well, it's not secure, it's not secure. These two hardly do anything risky. They're not downloading, you know, all kinds of like hacked programs or anything of the kind. So the odds of their network, their machines being compromised by something to where they could get at their data, I'm going to say it's not in the high priority. I know what they do. Believe me, I know what they do, because I constantly have to help them. So I'm not going to worry about this. You don't have to do this. You can actually create, you know, like users and groups and stuff like that if you want. I'm looking at this as, if you're setting this up for a family member that's not real tech savvy. Good example, my mother. Let's just put it this way, she doesn't remember her passwords that easy, and I really don't want to have to deal with it. So, and they're kind of the same way. So I don't want to cause myself a lot of headaches. And again, I know what they do. I mean, for me, it's a different story. I would definitely have access permission levels set on this just because of that. But because I'm not using mine that way, you know, again, I'm not too worried about this. So we'll go ahead and submit that. Enable start service. SMB service has been enabled. All right. Configure ACL permissions for this figure now. And for this here, I'm setting to open because this way, their phones, their tablets that they have, well, they only have one tablet, but they have one laptop now because I told them not to throw this out for that. So they have one laptop, they have 2 cell phones, and they have a tablet. This way, all of that can communicate with that same folder. They can store anything there. Their stuff can be backed up to there. And I don't have to worry about, like, you know, do they remember the password? Because my thing is, I can remember my own passwords. I don't like remembering anybody else's passwords, security, safety, and in my opinion, legality. It's like at work. I don't watch people over people's shoulders when they're typing in their passwords. I know I have like God level privileges at my job, but again, it's safer for me if I do not know what their password is. So I go ahead and set it to open. Click continue. So let's see, we have, and I know that they say that root and wheels shouldn't own it, but then again, this is just totally open. So full permission type basic, we'll just leave it at that. Full control, basic, inherent, group, allow, full control, everyone, permissions. I'm going to give them full control because again, if they delete their own stuff, that's their own fault, not mine. All right. And then we'll save. Okay. So now that we have that set and everything, let's see. Okay, so I had to set up the drive and everything. Basically, close that. What you would do is that you would go to like this PC and you could right click on it and click map a network drive. And what you would do there is that you would select a letter out of the available list. Okay. And you put in 2 dashes. And I'm sorry that you can't see that because I actually have it in the wrong spot. Hang on a second. I apologize for that. So you would go here, right click, map a network drive. You saw that earlier. Let me grab this guy, bring it up here so that you can see it. And I selected the Z drive. And what you would do is you would hit 2 backslashes, which is the one above the enter key. I always specify the key, and most of my users don't get it right. Put in the IP address, another backslash, and then the actual name of the share that you gave it, which the name of the data set / media share that I gave it was the GHS media, because this is the actual storage pool. This is the data set, and it's also what's being shared out. Now, the good thing is you don't have to format it. I found that out. So when we go back to here, okay, once you do that, you hit finish, then what will happen is it'll actually come up with this folder here. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to set up a couple of folders. And the reason being is because of the fact that a couple of these folders that I'm going to be setting up is for their media, for their music, for their pictures, for their movies and TV shows, because I'm also going to set up Plex Media Server on this for them. So we're going to go ahead and go to new. First folder we're going to create is movies. All right. Next one, I'm just going to call it TV. Next one is music. And the last one is pictures. Okay. And as you can see here, it's empty. I didn't even have to format this thing. Music's empty. Pictures is empty. All that, which I don't think I have anything. Let's see. Open in the new window. Oh, yeah, I do. Well, we'll use that later. So, okay. So let's go ahead and just close that out. So now that I have those set up, let's go back over to the web interface of this. All right. And now that we've got all that set up, what I want to do now is I want to set up the Plex Media Server. Choose a pool for plug-in and jail storage. Should have known. All right, so I'm using GHS storage. Okay, using pool. Now I'm sure it'll probably, reduce its Plex. Okay. And I want to say we're using 13.1. Let's come back to the... No, we're actually using 13, so I have to change that. All right, so I'm going to name it Plex. Okay. And I haven't updated this to 13.1 yet. I used an actual old release. So we're going to do that. And I don't understand about the advanced jail creation, and I'm not going to mess with it because I don't want to screw things up. Name jail. I'm just going to go with DHCP. I can probably change it later. So, next. Submit. So I guess it's got to like fetch whatever stuff. But this is the only thing that they're going to use. I've heard where people have run the, at least I think, I could be wrong, that they run the Unify controller on this. I haven't tried it, and I don't know if it's available. So and I'm not going to try because, like I said, I would rather run it as a legit VM on like say Proxmox over this. Again, my in-laws are different. How long this is going to take. I mean, I will get them updated to the latest one once I'm done setting everything up. And then after that, I have their 10 terabyte external, which then I will copy everything from that to there while this is doing whatever. I'm also going to create a couple of other folders. Well, I'm just only going to create one more folder. Okay, this is for their laptop. I'll create their phones and tablet because I'm going to use their actual names and I'm not going to put that on here. Let's see if that's changed any. Probably not. Oh, okay, cool. It actually finished. All right, so start, update, delete. I want to say... I wonder if I did something wrong. I think I did. And there we go. Okay. Ah, this is where I needed to go. All right, so let's go ahead and do... now this is what IX system supports. If we select the community, there's probably other things like AdGuard, Backup PC, Bazaar, Bind DNS, a whole bunch of stuff. And I may play around with some of this stuff later, maybe. But again, most of the stuff my in-laws are going to need, I don't need to run any of this stuff. Especially not like net data, NZB get. I'm not exactly sure on some of this other stuff because, like I said, I just don't see them using it. Me, maybe. Yeah, see, here's the Unify controller. It's in the community. So if you wanted to run this on, run that on this would, you could try it. I have no experience with any of this stuff. This is the first time I've even messed with it, and I've had mine set up with TrueNAS, but mine are like iSCSI sans, like what we use at work. Because I actually have a couple of 10G cards on it, which definitely helps a lot whenever I was streaming 4K stuff from down here to upstairs and everything. Especially when I had 10 gigabit from the virtual server to the switch, it helped a lot. So, but we're gonna go with just the IX system supported stuff. So we're gonna do the Plex media server. Okay, and we're gonna call it Plex DHCP, and we're just gonna leave that go because I knew I did something wrong. Now, if anything I may set up on any of mine is that I know, I can't think of the name of it right off the top of my head, but I've been playing around with, oh, I wish I could remember the name, but it automates compressing video from, say, MP4 or H.264 to H.265. And that may, if I can get that to work on this, I may set that up to compress a lot of my videos down, and this way it does it all automatically if I can get it, but I cannot remember the name of it to save my life. And I'm just trying to see. TDAR. That's it. So if I can install it, say on a test machine of some type, and if it works, I will probably set it up on my SANs so that way, or at least the primary one, because the secondary one's just for backup, and it's just going to replicate from that to that. And that way, once it's compressed, it'll just replicate it back to it, and that'll be that. All right, so everything is set up correctly. So we'll close that. Okay, so it's up. So now you reduce this down. All right, so there's really nothing else for that. What is that? No, I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about Nextcloud. Just checking out some of this stuff. Okay, so as far as that goes, I'm just curious. Now, granted, these IPs are going to change when okay. So there we go. So the only thing I have to do now is just configure this for my in-laws. The only thing is I'm not going to do it because, again, I'm not putting their information in. And I don't even have a test dummy account. But if you've already set up Plex before, and if not, there's like other videos out there for on how to set it up and everything. If you want to see, I can't remember if I set up one or not, to be perfectly honest with you. But this way here now, you know, everything's all running off of this box right here. Let me switch so that you can see me a little better. But now everything's running off of here. TrueNAS is running off of here. I got to get it updated. And as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and do that while I'm BSing a little bit. And no, it's updated. I don't know why it's saying 13. Just trying to see, because it said 13.1, and I didn't think 13.1 was even out yet. Oh, I hate. I don't know why you still got to go to freenas.org to get to TrueNAS. No, it's not 13.1 yet. Which is weird, though, because and I'm sure you guys saw when I was doing the plugins, it actually said 13.1, so maybe it's coming up soon. I don't know. But no, they're up to the latest version of it. Because they're on the 13 stable, and if we go back to the dashboard, 13U1, which is the latest one that's out. So they're up to date, at least with that, which is good. Like I said, Plex is installed. All I need to do now is copy that, sign into their TrueNAS, I mean, not TrueNAS, their Plex account, take it over, hook it up, change all the IPs and everything, write it down so I don't forget, because we all know it's me. And then the only thing I have to do is just manage it and everything. I don't think it'd be nice if you could install Team Viewer on this, and it really would. I don't think Team Viewer is available. Yeah, it's not here. I really wish it was, because that just would have made things so much easier. I could have just remoted into it and not had a problem with it. I mean, I'm probably sure I could probably set up a virtual machine. I may look into that. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to do that or not. Because basically all I need to do is just have them have the laptop open. I can remote into it, and then I can work with it from there. But yeah, so that's pretty much the basics of this. It's really not that bad between what I found out how to get it installed on this particular machine here. And really after that, the configuration, as you saw, was real easy. The reason why I did this, and I figure I'll add it to the end, is that the reason behind it is because I've, and this is before I started doing YouTube videos, I always see these guys and they have patrons and they got, you know, sponsors that are willing to just throw hard drives at them and stuff like that. And you see them create these humongous storage setups. And that's fine. I mean, I have similar things over here. I have two 24 bay 4U cases for my own setup. My thing is my channel's not that big. I just don't have companies just throwing hardware at me. So this was set up for most people that, you know, could have about, because I can't remember exactly, because there was like a bunch of things that my in-laws ordered. They ordered a 24-inch, really nice Samsung monitor. I think it was the G7 gaming monitor. Because, you know, I mean, yeah, it has a 17-inch screen for when they're traveling, but whenever they're home, they want something bigger. So there was quite a few things. I want to say all the parts and that I had them get to do this particular thing. I think total between 4 hard drives, 2 SSDs for the boot drives, the card, the adapter to put one of the drives here, because I have 2 mounted in the hardware, 1 mounted in the 3.5-inch drive, 1 mounted here, and then I think the CD drive still, or the DVD drive still here. I want to say it was around 1,700, maybe between 12 and 1,700 bucks, because I can't remember off the top of my head. And that's probably what most people can afford, especially turning an old machine into this. they're not having the money where, you know, there was somebody who spent like 800 and some odd dollars for this Storinator type thing that can hold 30 drives and, you know, all the stuff. And it's like, well, nobody that's a home user, okay, is going to be able to spend $800 just on that, and then a crap ton of money on a shit ton of drives just to get up to 30 drives in the stupid thing. So I think that's what the one guy that I watch, and I'm not gonna say who they are, and I'm not gonna disparage them or anything, because like I said, their channels are bigger than mine, and even if mine's bigger, yes, I'm not saying I wouldn't do something that size, but I'm also gonna do things for most home users too, because not everybody can afford that. And it's real simple to create something like this. And I always tell people, scale it to what you're going to use. Okay? If you need, you know, 300 terabyte of storage because of whatever, build it for that. If you have the money. If you don't, start small, work your way up. I mean, this is the smallest thing I've ever done, and most of the time I don't go small because, again, excuse me, I have been an IT technician for many years now. I've always loved this, and I always love seeing the big end stuff because that's what I shoot for. But again, this isn't what this is about. This is to help people do things like get into virtualization with something like this, or even in the case of one of my earlier videos, how to do it on a laptop. I mean, this can work as your virtual server. It doesn't have to be, you know, an actual, like, physical server that a business would use. I mean, mine started out, I had floor tower cases. But this is what my videos are. They are to help people who do not have a lot of money, do not have a lot, like, you know, like I said, people just throwing hardware at them. Okay, I mean, believe me, I watch a lot of other YouTubers and stuff. Sometimes they cover things that I've never even heard of. And I'm like, oh, wow. And, you know, it is fascinating, from Tom Lawrence to a few other ones. But this kind of stuff here is for the average user. This is something I would set up for my mom so that she could do something similar at home. Like I said, this is for my in-laws because they decided they want a Windows 11 computer. But that's pretty much it for this. And as I always like to say, have a good day, guys, and take care.